If you have debt or feel like your money controls you, then you're probably feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious about your money. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel or experience these emotions. Even though I've been debt free since 2023, the truth is, money has a stranglehold on all of us, whether we like to admit it or not. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I separate my emotions from my money and how you can do the same. Because let's be real, why do we get so mad when like a small surprise expense pops up? So first, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my personal experience with money. There was a time when I was completely ignorant about my bank account. I worked a job, I got paid, and that was it. I'd buy stuff until my card got declined and then blow through like my paycheck in like 10 days before my next paycheck came around. And to make up the difference, I'd use credit cards. I was constantly playing catch up. I always found myself maybe angry, pointing fingers at others for my mistakes. Someone would ask me for like $20 for a gift, and I'd immediately be like, I have no money for that. And I would get mad at them for even asking, like, don't you know that I'm broke? Then the guilt would typically set in because deep down I knew that I was being irresponsible for myself. I spent mindlessly, I piled up debt, then I lashed out at others, and it wasn't fair. And after that anger was typically sadness. Sad that I couldn't contribute more to the people that I loved. Sad that I never learned from my mistakes. By the way, YouTube might have suggested this video because the algorithm probably knows you more than you know yourself. So if you've made it this far, consider subscribing. Honestly, the whole experience of emotions with money kind of felt like the stages of grief. And the more that I actually think about it, the more I realize how similar they actually are. Now, I'm going to talk about how I've actually separated my emotions from my money. It's always a work in progress, to be honest, but I've worked my ass off to get to a place where my emotions don't peak and valley like they used to. Even though I'm debt free, I still get annoyed when unexpected expenses pop up. For example, last year, my wife's car went through the ringer and we had to drop nearly $6,000 in repairs. Luckily, we had prepared for something like this by funding our emergency fund, which covered like mostly everything, but I still found myself, upset because that money wasn't collecting interest anymore. And I was thinking to myself, like, seriously, that's what I was mad about. It kind of just goes to show that these emotions never fully go away. At least that's been my experience. Before I jump into my actual tips, comment below if you have any of your own ways to separate your emotions from your money. So there are 3 ways that I've practiced to separate my emotions from my money. One is I automate everything. Once a year around the holidays, I sit down and go through every expense, then plan my automatic transfers for the entire year or for the entire upcoming year. My investments, my emergency savings, my vacations, my spending money, all of it. This way, I remove myself from daily money decisions. Number 2, I stay off of my banking apps. If you're in debt, you'll probably want to check in every couple days, but if you're in a place where everything is automated, try deleting your banking apps because constantly seeing those numbers can stress you out. This is the biggest step that I'm currently working on. I find it very difficult not to look at the apps. I've probably limited myself to like once every few days. The goal is to really just be off it as much as possible. And tip number 3 is I stopped buying so much stuff. Like retail therapy is real. I used to spend money on random trinkets, trying to fill some void with temporary pleasures. But when I stopped attaching my feelings to inanimate objects, I stopped letting money control my emotions because less stuff equals less emotional baggage. Less. That's all I got for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.